You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
And we are back with week 2 of the Eternal Tournament Series in our season 1. We've got some pretty sweet decks going on here and some sweet players. We've got the TheTrystero versus Tobboo. TheTrystero on Rakano control, Tobboo on Big Combre. I'm Mark. I've got Counterbob in the booth with me. Counterbob, you wanna do a quick matchup rundown?
Yeah, so TheTrystero top-aided last week playing Practice Mid. This week has Rakano control. Weapons-heavy deck. Artisan into Runehammer. You got Sword of Ikaria, Reforge, Rise. All your standard things. And you have big old Molten Fist on top along with Ikaria herself. One card that's kind of mysteriously missing is Miner's Musket, which definitely helps facilitate your weapons later in the game. But definitely an interesting list. I saw this sort of deck being played early on in Dusk Road, and then it started to, at least in my eyes, and what I saw in ladder, started to fall off in favor of more standard armor variants. But this is definitely a sweet deck, and I'm excited to see it. And then the other side, we have Big Combre. We saw Combre variants last round. This one's just your standard 2-faction Combre. Lots of 4-ofs of all your favorite Combre creatures, or units rather. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see if the weapons can line up against the beefiness of the Combre creatures themselves.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to give the edge to Big Combre.
Yeah, same here.
But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I guess we'll definitely see. I do really enjoy the Molten Fist decks though, which is effectively Armory, which is now control.
Yeah, and they're both 3-0, so they're both doing well.
Mm-hmm.
It does depend on which side of the Big Combre deck shows up. You could get the side with all the vanquishes and stuff like that, which aren't very good. They are and they're not, because you do need 2 to kill an Ikaria, so you do want to see them at some point if you're dealing with Ikaria, although you do have Valkyrie Enforcer to get rid of the Aegis and then use your Vanquish, so there's ways around it.
You also have your Protects and your Desert Marshals as well. So it looks like both players have resolved a mulligan. TheTrystero playing a crest and says another sigil on top. Decides to keep it on top and pass the turn back to Tobboo. Tobboo's just going to play a sigil and pass the turn. I have to imagine we're going to see a Power Stone next turn from Tobboo. TheTrystero playing a Power and looks like he's going to roll in his favor.
Yeah, at first his hand wasn't looking too great, but he did draw that extra Fire Sigil, so he's going to be able to stay on curve, and then Tobboo, I assume, is going to just start to power out these Power Stones, hopefully to draw in something like a Titan, like one of his bigger units, rather than just the Seraph and Desert Marshal in hand. Right now his hand is not quite potent at the moment, so it'll let TheTrystero kind of develop his weapons pretty easily.
Yeah, and turn getting back over to Tobboo. Tobboo gonna be able to play a Seraph if they want here. Yeah, and I have to imagine we'll see another Waystone come out. Yeah, there we go. So that's gonna get him up to 2 Justice Influence and 1 Time Influence with a Time Sigil in hand, as well as another Emerald Waystone. Turn goes back to TheTrystero. TheTrystero gonna go ahead and play a Power and maybe a Rise from the challenge this turn.
Yeah, the Seraph's pretty safe to play. The only thing it's going to die to right away would be like a Runehammer, so you just kind of throw it out there, hope they don't have it, just see the Rise. So get to smash the next turn for 3, see what Rise is for.
There is only 1 Runehammer in the deck, which is probably why Tobboo felt a little bit more comfortable, and we do see a Rise go and grab that Runehammer.
Yeah, and with no other real units in hand, Tobboo, it's not looking too great. You can ambush, I believe, right? If you ambush the Runehammer, it'll smack into that. So save the Seraph against a weapon for the time being.
Which I definitely think is the play, because TheTrystero, even when after playing the Runehammer, they're only going to go up to 3 armor, so the Seraph should be able to eat should be able to eat the armor. And actually, let's attack here. Puts him down to 24, gets rid of those 2 armor, so it's a mute point. Hey there. We do see the other Power Stone come out from Tobboo, which to me kind of reinforces what you were saying about the Desert Marshal coming down in order to block the way of that Rune Hammer.
Yeah, I mean, he could just play out the Throne Warden. It'll block the Seraph. You still have a couple turns before it becomes active, so that's pretty safe play.
Yeah, and there we go. And then now, even if you're able to play the Rune Hammer and or they were able to play the Rune Hammer even if they didn't have their Throne Warden in play, that Rune Hammer would still die after the attack from I have no idea what I was just saying there. Just bunch of nonsense. Anyway, Tobboo drawing World Barrier Behemoth at the top, determining whether or not they want to play it. I think they're considering Desert Marshalling to pop the Aegis on Throne Warden and then vanquishing it and then getting in for Seraph. However, I feel like just playing the World Barrier is going to be better.
Yeah, it's a lot of resources just to get rid of a Throne Warden, where you can just kind of build up a board, although you don't want to build up too big of a board against a deck that's runs Harsh Rule. So it's an interesting spot to be in.
Yeah, and has a power been played this turn yet?
Not yet. So you could play the Behemoth and then also have Marshal up.
Yeah, which seems quite excellent there. And even if you were worried about Runehammer being the card that was risen for, the World Barrier Behemoth does not die to it.
No, it does not. It can die to that plus the Torch in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just the Harsh Roll, but yeah. And we'll see if Tobboo picks up on that, if that is in fact what TheTrystero wants to do in terms of Runehammer into Torch in order to answer this Behemoth.
You could play something like Artisan just to buff your weapons, but the 2 units across the way both have Overwhelm, so it's not the greatest. Almost, with the Harsh Roll in hand, you want to kind of lead your opponent into playing more units, so you get, instead of just 2 for 1, you possibly get 3 or 4 for 1, so it's both players in interesting spots each of these turns.
For sure. Yeah, so there's definitely TheTrystero tanking a little bit here.
Most of the games we've seen, it's just been pretty back and forth. This game's kind of the thinking man's game right now.
Makes trying to call the plays a little easier. I'll be honest. I appreciate it, TheTrystero.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Here we go. All right, now are we going to see the Desert Marshal come down? Does Tobboo see through this?
Yeah, the interesting thing, it does have 5 armor, so next turn, next turn will probably still die because that Behemoth will still be alive.
And Desert Marshal comes in. Yeah, Desert Marshal comes in and pops the Aegis on the Throne Warden, and then you have Vanquish to get rid of it.
Yep.
And very interesting, we actually see the weapon swing go at Seraph.
That is interesting. Maybe he wanted to save the torch for something else.
All right, or also just worried about the activation coming down. But is that actually that bad? You have the Harsh Roll in hand. I don't know. I would have. Yeah.
He could just be again fishing out more cards for Tobboo plays out the power. He spends his 8 power to activate Seraph and then just Harsh Roll. So it's wasting your opponent's turn theoretically.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see. So we do see the Vanquish come out from Tobboo. That's going to clear the way, make sure that the Rune Hammer gets into the yard. Relic Weapon goes bye-bye. However, we do see the Reforge in TheTrystero's hand. So this is actually kind of helping TheTrystero because this Runic Hammer is going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be very big. And he had a bunch of armor, and he just got hit for 9 and was only at 20. And then he has a Wanda poster, followed up by the Harsh Roll. So he's sitting in a really good spot, especially with Tobboo only on the Waystone and the Valkyrie Enforcer.
And that's going to be an 8/7 Auric Runehammer.
Yeah. Not to mention also has a dice show in hand.
Yeah, the little things. So actually, maybe you just fire off the dice show and leave it and leave the Runehammer in the yard. Yep.
You could end a turn here, torch, and then dice show, and then just start the beats.
I'm curious. So the Waystones, are those just a matter of getting some additional life? It looks like it in Tobboo's list.
Yeah, it's just a small buffer. You're in a 2-faction deck. They're almost free at that point, especially with Power Stone and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh man! All right. So Tobboo sees the writing on the wall there, goes and picks it up, and we're gonna go on to the sideboards.
And he just did not draw the powerful units with he had Power Stone to force out big things early, but just didn't see the big things. So 4 Tobboo in his sideboard of Big Cambrai. Not really sure. Maybe Reality Warden comes in.
Yeah, I mean it's a big dumb dude that doesn't die, only dies to die show, but at that point they've taken 14 points of damage. Because Molten Fist doesn't kill it right away.
The additional protect perhaps to save against harsh rolls and stuff. You do have 2 main and one stand the other.
Yeah,
it's interesting. You could almost cut down on Iron Thorns because you're not worried about a big board stall.
Yeah. Yep. Trailmaker, Vanquish, you could probably trim a little bit.
Yeah, so you have big enough units, especially with Titan, you can ground the Ikaria and not worry about it too much.
And you still have all the silences.
Yep.
Also in there. Yeah, I think you could. I think you could definitely get in the Reality Wardens and the protects.
Yeah, I definitely think Reality Warden and maybe just one additional protect, depending on what he wants to take out.
Yeah, and then looking over on TheTrystero's side,
so
Amelie's maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You could look at your player across from you and say, okay, they're going to take out Vanquishes because they're not very good against me, and then you know what, I'm going to bring in Amelies because they're a big, powerful threat. But also, they are playing Titan, so you have a 4/8 flyer that just gets kind of stonewalled by that. That creates, you swing in, make more flyers, and they just kind of bump off each other for a while. So it's an interesting inclusion. Desert Marshal might come in to silence. Interesting to say Desert Marshal in a Arcano control deck, but he has 1 time sigil.
Yeah, so he's got 1 time sigil to facilitate the shushes and the Desert Marshals that are in his board. Very interesting.
2 Seed of Progress in main.
Yes. So 3 total sources plus the 4 Seek Power. So 7 total sources for just a few sideboard cards. It is definitely interesting. I don't know if I'd bring in the Desert Marshals. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's one way to get around.
Answers Seraph really nicely, but past that, like
silence a Titan, so you can swing at the card. But you do have Vanquish and stuff like that. So maybe just extra. I'm not sure what else he wants to bring in. I'm not sure how good Hammer of Authority is in this matchup. It's not that many spells they're playing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Both players have gone ahead and gotten in a game. It looks like they're resolving mulligans. TheTrystero, are you about to? Looks like TheTrystero is thinking about shipping this back. I don't think it's the worst hand on the planet. No. Yeah, I would keep that.
He has 2 power sources, a Seek Power. He has
and a Sword of Ikaria.
Yeah.
Tobboo does go ahead and ships their hand back. We have the potential to see a turn 4 Parliament, which would be interesting. Or turn 3 Parliament, excuse me.
A turn 3 Parliament, or even you would need to hit 1 more time sigil to play the Behemoth a little bit early, but I think he can do that.
Well, he's got it in Trailmaker.
Yeah. So he's lots of acceleration with Trailmaker and Power Stone.
Yeah, and we know that TheTrystero. Actually, I guess TheTrystero will not be able to answer this Trailmaker in time, or excuse me, only if a torch was drawn off the top. That was not the case. This Trailmaker is going to live. Great Parliament's probably going to, right? Like, I fire off Great Parliament at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just get in as fast as possible sometimes helps against these harsh roll decks, especially looking at your hand. You can then follow it up with a Behemoth.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not
another one.
actually going to be able to follow it up with the Behemoth this time, but I still think getting that 4/4 in play is just very important.
Yeah, you could play the Power Stone perhaps.
Yes, that is true.
Just,
yeah, I like getting the 4/4 owl out there. I think.
Yeah,
like
he played the wanted poster on the trail maker, so you got to figure he has something to kill it next turn.
Yes.
One of the few things is a torch or a Sword of Icaria. You know, why didn't he torch last turn?
Yes, exactly. So I do like this. Oh, wow. All right. Guaranteeing that they're going to be able to go turn 4 World Bearer into turn 5 World Bearer.
Which sets up very big parliaments. So that's probably their thinking.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Because even with the trail marker dying, you can still play Waystone.
Yeah, especially if you end up having the Sword of Icaria, or if if Tobboo reads that Sword of Icaria is the answer to Trail Maker, then yeah, that makes a ton of sense to play it that way. We do see the World Bearer coming into play from Tobboo. TheTrystero trying to decide what to do. We do see a Vanquish in hand, so there is an answer in hand for TheTrystero to this World Bearer. However, it doesn't look like there's another answer past for the second World Bearer past a Harsh Roll.
Yeah, it's 2 Harsh Rolls. And with Tobboo having 2 and playing out both against a Harsh Roll deck, you might think, it's kind of rough. But when you're just filling your power pool to then be followed up by Great Parliament, you don't mind. And you would have gotten a couple swings in, at least one. So you do the damage, you fill your power pool, and then you have a bunch of owls.
Yeah, and then with Seraph as well.
Yeah,
I'm going to be able to actually have even more late game potential with that.
Yeah, you might be forced here just to use a Harsh Rule just as a 1-for-1 here.
Yeah, I think you have to, right? Like letting Tobboo get to 8 power is so scary.
Yeah, especially when you have a backup Harsh Rule, it's not the biggest worries.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we do see Seraph. I think I would have held on to Seraph, in all honesty.
He plays it there, I think, because if he draws another power off the top, he can then immediately activate it. And you just saw your opponent play a Harsh Roll, so you figure, I'm pretty safe. Probably doesn't have a second.
Yeah. I was, yeah. All right, I'll cede it. I'll cede that point. I'm curious to see. Ooh, it looks like we're going to see a Molten Fist. Yeah, Molten Fist coming off the Rise of the Challenge. So that's going to come in as an 8/6.
Yeah, he's at a healthy life total, so he didn't need to Harsh Roll there, because your opponent activates the Seraph, and you're like, okay, now I can Harsh Roll.
Yeah.
Use it to search your deck for a powerful card, and worry about it later.
All right, and so we do see the anomalies coming in for TheTrystero. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the game plan.
Yeah,
I like it.
All right, yeah. So we're gonna get in for 4, and we're gonna get another 1/1 Valkyrie with flying. This Reality Warden. Yeah, maybe you don't end up doing it. I mean, I guess you can trade off with the Reality Warden right here.
Yeah, I mean,
or kill the Seraph. Yeah.
It's the biggest threat to really worry about. You swing with the melee, and then you just have blockers galore for a while.
This is kind of awkward, though, with that Harsh Rule in hand for TheTrystero. Yeah. Is any board that Amelie starts making? Oh, wow.
That's an interesting thing.
So Seraph, putting in play another Seraph, it's good times.
Yeah, I assume a Harsh Rule is going to come here with that swing.
Yeah. All right. And so there's the answer to that. We're going to ship back, but we're going to Tobboo, having more threats, going to be able to fire off Mystic Ascendant, and then thanks to the power that was drawn, immediately going to turn it into a 6/6 and draw another card. Power Stone being that card. We're going to see Reforge come down on that Molten Fist. This thing is going to be a 12/8 when it's played next turn. That is a large weapon.
Yeah, it plays out the Artisan just as a chump blocker here. We saw Tobboo stumble on power, so you're not worried about him really drawing too much off Mystic Ascendant. He doesn't have anything pocketed. and not much really going on in his hand besides the Parliament. He could play Power Stones, but that wouldn't increase any owls you get.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that unfortunate for Tobboo that Trystero drew both of his anomalies, because if he hadn't, and Trystero did not have a flying blocker for the Great Parliament, the 2 owls from this Great Parliament actually do a ton of work here. Because the Molten Fist comes in, probably kills the Mystic Ascendant, and then you still have the 2 8/8 flyers that are going to clear out the game in 2 turns.
Yep. And your opponent played the Fist, so you definitely need to get more threats. You can't let them have a free range Molten Fist going on.
Yeah, and you've seen 2 harsh rules already, so you're feeling pretty good about that as well. Yep. All right, so we do see a Seed of Glory being played, depleted from Trystero. Trystero trying to figure out, all right, well, do we play Molten Fist, get in there? Do we just go ahead and get Amelie going? Do we rise for something? Looks like the choice is the Amelie. Going to be able to block those 4/4s. It's starting to look a little hairy for Tobboo.
Yeah, he needs to definitely draw something strong off the top. Something, I don't know what he would really want off the top here to really push through these last 11 points.
Actually, Stand Together would not be terrible.
Wouldn't be bad at all.
You're going to be able to start forcing in. So maybe like power into Stand Together is where you want to be shooting for?
Yeah, just drawing off the top each turn. You want to get that Mystic Ascendant as big as possible. Try to get it out of range of a Molten Fist, but that's going to be real hard with how big it is.
Yeah, you would need 3 more power drops.
Yeah, so like Iron Thorn into power.
Oh, excuse me, 4 more to get it out of range.
Yeah.
But you only need 1 more in order for it to trade, which is seemingly very good.
Yeah, if he has a Vanquish around to make his blockers just go through, I think that's probably the best thing. Or even a Desert Marshal or Valkyrie Enforcer to just bring it to the ground.
Yes.
So those 2 owls are the key, I think, in this moment.
Yeah, 100%. There's the Molten Fist. It's got to go towards the Mystic Ascendant, right?
I think it might go to the owls.
Yeah, like I could. All right, yeah.
Those are what matter right now.
All right. Ooh, there's Justice Sigil. Let's see. That's a redraw for the turn. Let's see what comes off the top. Looks like a Valkyrie Enforcer. Wow, that's huge. Yeah. So there's the Valkyrie Enforcer. We're going to silence that Amelie, and then you'll be able to get in for 4 with the owl, getting rid of that Molten Fist.
Yep, clears the Fist, and then you have the air is open, and then you also have a 3/3 flyer. So that's 7 points on top of that, and you just need a 2-turn clock from that point if TheTrystero doesn't have anything to answer that.
Yeah, I have to imagine though this Rise is going to go get either an Ikaria or the Daisho. Did we already see the Daisho in this game?
That was last game.
That was last game. Okay.
Yeah. I'll have to wait till next turn to play it. I mean, you can play it this turn. I'm getting all sorts of confused today. He has 5 open. He could grab Runehammer here to kill a owl this turn to just stop the clock.
It does it stop the clock, because it's still going to come in as it still dies on the crackback to the Valkyrie Enforcer, correct?
Yeah, it's just killing an owl at this point. It's going through all of its options here. Because he only has 5 power open. He doesn't have another way to increase that. I mean, he did keep in Hammer Authority, so that could be another thing he does play. Because it's a 5/5 weapon. It would be a 7/5 weapon at that point.
Oh, he does decide just to go for Ikaria. All right, Ikaria into Throne Warden. I don't hate this.
No, the Throne Warden just here's 4 life. Another blocker, and then you have Ikaria who can just take down the flyers. But at this point, now the Mystic Ascendant is becoming an issue. It's getting big, and it is drawing.
Yeah, and that Seek Power is going to guarantee that Tobboo is going to get an extra draw next turn as long as that Mystic Ascendant stays around. Here we do see the Ikaria going to be able to get in, hitting for 7, 2-turn clock. However, there are multiple flying dudes in the air, And this the Mystic Ascend. Oh wow!
Ooh boy.
All right, so Martial Ironthorn drawn for the turn for Tobboo with that Seek Power still in hand. So I have to imagine we're going to see Martial Ironthorn, Seek Power, draw 2 cards off of the Mystic Ascendant, and then see where that takes us. So we got a World Bearer and a Protect. Does Protect do anything here?
Not at this point. All TheTrystero has is the Hammer Authority. The activation possibly next turn of Ironthorn won't actually Protect. You can get rid of the Aegis, so then the Ironthorn's effect will then kill the Ikaria.
Yeah, and you can swing completely out. You lose one of your flyers, but then they lose the entire rest of their board.
Yeah, but if he's trying to do the plan to activate Ironthorn, you might want to just save as much as possible here.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that, but he wouldn't have been able to block with the Martial Ironthorn.
Yeah,
like he wouldn't have been able to block the Martial Ironthorn while not taking lethal.
Yeah,
I don't think. Ooh, well, there's that. Yeah,
can't
all right. So
Protect
being
now.
locked down by that Hammer of Authority. That's a really cool graphic. I haven't had anybody play Hammer of Authority against me yet.
Yeah, that looks really cool. So at this point, maybe you take out the flyer. Yeah, because now your units have Aegis, so you're not worried about the Ironthorn effect.
Yeah, however, that Protect is if he swings out though, yeah, Tobboo still wins, right?
Swings out, you can block the Ironthorn and the Ascendant, and then take 8, and he'll be at 1.
Okay. Actually, I think he goes to 2, right? He blocks the Ascendant with the Throne Warden, and then he blocks the... Oh, no, that kills him. Never mind. Yep, overwhelms the thing. Oh, no, it just puts him down to 1. So maybe Ikaria jumps in front of the World Bearer, because either way he goes to 1, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. Ooh, there's a second Protect. That's, that does some things.
Yeah, he just drew a whole bunch of cards off the World Bearer and Ironthorn and Ascendant. There's not much TheTrystero could really do at this point. It's definitely an interesting match. We still got a third game, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
it's definitely a longer one. We've seen that most of these have been quick. This one, the players are taking their time. Lots of lines to consider. We've talked about some. The players take a different one. It either works or doesn't work. These games are definitely the ones that get real interesting, real spicy.
Yeah, and looking at my friends list, I'm guessing this is one of the last matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are getting confirmation on that, so it should be a pretty quick turnaround, which would be great for chat, and then we'll see in round 5, and it'll be a great thing.
Doesn't look like there was much sideboarding after game 2. They went right into it.
0. Yeah. All right. So it looks like TheTrystero with a hand of Fire Sigil, Emerald Waystone, and then a Seek Power, so they should be able to play most of the things as well as the Roland's Favor. Going to be able to pump all the weapons. And there's a Molten Fist, so not the best hand, not the worst hand. Looking over at Tobboo just needs to draw some power, and then they're sitting pretty well.
Yeah, he just needs power at this point. Both hands look pretty solid besides that lack of power on Tobboo's. So you can play the Trail Marker here, and he needs to hit it. Well, he doesn't need the time because he has the Trailmaker, but just power in general. That's all he's hoping for at this point. If he stumbles, the weapons deck is just going to take control.
Well, thankfully, TheTrystero doesn't really have anything to punish this yet.
Not yet, but it gives him time to develop, although we do have a Seraph. So swinging 5 a turn is no joke.
And also Seraph means that a Sword of Ikaria is not able to clear the board completely. There's a Trailmaker. That's kind of like a that's kind of like a power, right? Yeah.
Can play that. I mean, that's really the only play here, unless you want to try to save. save the Desert Marshal in case of a Runehammer.
Yeah, I actually think there's definitely that, as well as the potential of holding up Stand Together.
Yep, that also protects against a Runehammer.
Yeah, it protects against the Runehammer, protects against random Torch. I do like going ahead and getting the Maker out there, though. Your opponent hasn't been doing anything, so yeah, let's now you can actually start playing like your Sandstorm Titans. How much you want to commit to the board when they're on 4 of those, another question. But yeah,
this is another thing where you could, develop this board, keep up to Stand Together in case they want to harsh roll, as they see you're short on power. So they're just trying to clear the way. But that is rough because then you're kind of handcuffing yourself. Do you swing in here, have the chump block of the Artisan into a Torch, you lose your Seraph?
Yeah. No, I actually like this. The Seraph attacking, we're going to go ahead and drop him down to 3. And then you just pass, leaving up Stand Together, and then also Desert Marshal, which is going to pay out big time thanks to this Amelie coming down.
Yep, it just makes a 4/8 on the ground. Just going to stop all attacks as well, but they're not going to be swinging over you, creating more Valkyries, which is a little bit more important than just having a 4/8.
Ooh, decides not to play the Desert Marshal.
Maybe figures with the Sandstorm Titan, you just can ground it, and then chump block it for a while.
Or they're waiting. Okay. I was going to say, or Tobboo might have been waiting for Amelie to attack and then Desert Marshal it, make it smaller, and buff your units with the Stand Together. I don't know. That seems far-fetched to line, but, who knows?
Yeah, I would have much rather preferred the silence on it, because you got to figure your opponent's going to be on 6. He's going to have something that might affect the Titan. Why take the chance when you're already stumbling? Just take it where you can get it.
Yeah, now we're in a situation where World Bearer can be... like, nothing seems great here, right?
Yeah, you're in a really bad spot. At this point, it might just be best to use the Desert Marshal, because now he's going to create a 2/2. The Fist is only a 2/2, so it's not going to kill your Seraph. I might just have to chump for a while. You still have Stand Together open.
All right, so just attacking with the Seraph. All right, Fist is down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Desert Marshal is the play here. Nothing else does. Oh, I guess he's going to do that. I was going to say nothing else really does anything. But if you are short power, you do want to play Behemoth to increase that. But nothing's blocking this Amelie that's just going to get out of control, I think. You don't have any way to really ground it. You could play Parliaments to chump. You're not at 8 to play 2 to then double block.
Yes. All right. And there's the Wanted poster. There's the Vanquish. There's World Bearer. Eaten Dust. Also realize that there's 4 Crest of Impulse in Trystero's deck. So definitely wrong on how many white sources. So that's more than enough white sources. All right. There's the Sword of Akari that has been buffed by the Rakano Artisan. And go ahead and eats the Trailmaker. This is getting out of hand very quickly for Tobboo.
Yeah, again, not answering the Amelie's effect is just creating a wide board state of all flyers that you just can't deal with. Like, yeah, you have Titan to ground things, but you can't guarantee things are going to stay alive.
Yeah.
So
especially when your opponent has just kept literally has done nothing in the early turns. That would be, I would have interpreted that more than likely as having some number of Vanquishes just kind of stranded in my hand. But
yeah, and you're not using, you don't have that much power and influence going on right now. So you leave 2 open, you don't do anything. You got to take anything you can at that point. And
exactly.
Be safe rather than sorry.
Yeah, because that also set up, if he had done that on that turn, he would have been able to Desert Marshal. Oh, wow.
So you play Stand Together here just to try to kill the sword. It's just a lot to throw out just to kill the sword.
Oh, man. Yeah, because basically, had he played the Desert Marshal that in that earlier turn, the next turn he would have been able to still hold up Stand Together, and then you would have been getting the Stand Together bonus on 4 different creatures, which would have been more than enough to block the Amelie, and then Amelie would have only been able to eat 2 creatures at best.
Yeah, he just traded a Suroth and a Stand Together for 2 Valkyrie tokens and an Artisan.
Yes. Man, yeah, this is...
I mean, we're halfway through the day. It's been a grueling match. Sometimes you think one line of play, and then it just, this time it bit him in the butt. And also being power screwed was probably the big proponent of the loss. That also helps.
I don't think so. I don't think. 3 power is plenty of power. But I mean, like 2. Yeah, I mean, getting power screwed definitely had a lot to do that with that. However, there was a point in the game where he was able to get to 5 power to be able to play some of the other stuff. Granted, like whether or not you have to be leaving up. Why am I arguing? He got power screwed. No, that's plain and short of it.
Yeah, two really good games, and then a third game that just gets kind of womp womp with power screw.
Yeah, so let's see. And that was definitely the last match in this round. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be right back with some more Eternal action.